Prigozhin and Putin. One of the things that was brought up yesterday was by Nikki Haley. And he says, look, I don't know if you guys are sitting here defending Russia and saying, hey, why don't we just give Ukraine's land back to Putin and that's what's going to happen. Putin killed an opponent today. He killed an opponent today.
Yeah.
That's what he did. And she kept saying, the audience was like, wow, that was a big applause when that happened. Mm-hmm. Rob, do you have that list on the article that Peter was talking about? You know which one I'm talking about? The list, is this the one?
Yes.
So here's a Vladimir Putin speculated hit list of critics and enemies. If we can kind of go through this here. So Vladimir Putin at the top has been a long shot. Rob, are you going through the names? Okay, Colonel KGB. Okay, here we go. Prigozhin, which, by the way, there's a video of it. If you want to put the video of what happened to him dropping the plane, and you kind of seen it saying...
and there's some people that might not be familiar with what just transpired over the last few months with him.
Why don't you bring everybody up to date?
So I remember when it all happened. It was the same day that we did the podcast with Alex Jones.
He was here. It was live.
He was sitting here. He's sitting here, and I don't know if Alex Jones had done his research on this. He's like, oh yeah, Prigozhin. Let me tell you. Well, yes, he runs the Wagner Group. It's basically the Blackwater of Russia. It's like a mercenary group right there, and he's going through the streets right now, brother. Yeah. And like basically what happened was. This Blackwater military group that basically it's a private military group. They're they're doing their own thing. They're fighting in the Ukraine, a militia, but like mercenaries, probably the best way to put it. They were going through the streets of Russia on their way to Moscow to essentially, as it was labeled, do a coup. Right? I mean, that's this happened in Turkey a handful of years ago. Things are progressing, but eventually they stopped at I think one major city. There was a sort of an agreement or an alliance formed, and part of that agreement was that you're going to go to Belarus, you're going to get out of here. He was greeted by the people in the streets of Russia as a hero. Some people in Russia are not exactly fans of this war, especially the 200,000 mothers of young men who were killed over this war in Russia. Mm-hmm. So obviously there's some issues there. But then Putin, like a tiger waiting in the wings, banished him to wherever. What's funny was I read an article on him 48 hours ago. This happened 24 hours ago about that how he was fighting ISIS in North Africa, and I was like, that's so random. That Prigozhin is now fighting ISIS of all things. Did you see any of that?
Yeah.
So then apparently his flight, his plane was shot down.
Yeah. So did you, Rob? Did the audience actually see it? The video?
They played it as B-roll.
Sounds good. Fantastic. Yeah. So that's kind of what happened.
Yeah.
Now,
and U.S. intelligence said that it was intentionally caused explosion that crashed the Prigozhin plane.
And this came out just, I want to say 40 minutes ago. There was a tour. They were getting ready to sell the plane that they were on yesterday that crashed. And I have to find the video, but you can actually see people doing tours. So they were showing the plane to potential customers. And the suspect, what people suspect happened is that somebody put a bomb inside of the plane while they were showing it to potential buyers.
And Pat, you want to talk about a gangster move? I mean, first of all, if you try to do a coup on a leader like that, guess what? There's a saying, you F around, you find out, first of all. But then, Pat, the most gangster thing is Putin. Adam, you saw it upstairs. Putin was like, hey, with regard to the aviation accident. That's how he started the condolences. He's like, I want to express my sincere condolences to the families of all the victims. It's always a tragedy. And indeed, if they were, and initial data seems to indicate that Wagner Group employees were also there. I'd like to note that these are people who have made a significant contribution to causing the fighting of the neo-Nazi regime. And then he goes, Prigozhin, I knew him for a very long time.
This is Putin on Prigozhin?
And I knew him since the 90s.
Yeah. I saw him
say... a man of difficult fate. And he made mistakes, serious in life, and he achieved the results that were necessary for himself. It's the biggest gangster move. But bro, you mess with Putin... That's the shit.
Do you think Putin was behind this?
1,000%. That's not an accident, Pat. There's no way, bro.
99.99999%.
Yeah, you try to do a coup. You try to fight against a guy who's poisoned people.
You're about to read the people over listening point. I think it was Putin. It wasn't like he wasn't sad. He wasn't somber. He's like he was a man of difficult fate. he made serious mistakes in life, and
Is this it?
these are the results that he got.
Play this.
Look at this. Okay.
Can we get audio?
Очень давно.
This is not how you react to the death of
С
your
начала
friend
90-х годов.
in a plane accident.
Это был человек сложной судьбы, и ошибки у него были серьезные в жизни. И добивался он результатов нужных и для себя, и тогда, когда я его просил об этом для общего дела, как вот в эти последние месяцы. Он был талантливый человек, талантливый бизнесмен. Работал не только у нас в стране и с результатом работал, но и за границей, в Африке в частности. Занимался там нефтью, газом, драгоценными металлами и камнями. Вот он вчера только, насколько мне стало известно, вернулся из Африки.
Listen.
Yes.
Listen. You're all. I'm saying all this. You know it was me, but I have to say this for camera because you know.
Let me pretend.
So
to
here's
wipe
some of the
away
people.
the
So we
fake
got
tears.
Yevgeny Prigozhin. Okay, so we just heard that one. You got Pavel Antov, Russian tycoon who fell from Indian hotel window in December of 2022 after his 65th birthday. He was also criticized Putin's war on WhatsApp.
Just back up a second. You know those Indian billionaires, Russian, who just want on their birthday want to jump out a window, you know, while they're celebrating their birthday being a billionaire in India, nonetheless.
Maybe he had one too many chicken curries. Who knows? So Ravil Maganov is the openly criticized Russian-Ukraine's invasion, called for conflict, and then he fell from Moscow hospital window.
A lot of falling.
A lot of
falling out of windows, Pat.
Dan Rappaport, the businessman, condemned Russia's Ukraine war on supporting Ukraine. Daily Beast, founded in D.C. Parliamentary August 20, Florida license $2,500.
That should scare the hell out of everybody right now.
Which is
because
what?
this is an American, okay, that was criticizing the war, okay, and he was in D.C. and just found dead.
Weird.
Who wrote this article? I mean, Christy, you might want to, you know what I'm saying? Christy, you might want to change his name. He's like, Christy's going to go to Peter and say, hey, would you mind if we put your name?
Please put your name for who wrote this. And
Mikhail Lezin, Russian press minister, was found dead in D.C. hotel room November 2015 from head trauma. He was very influential in Russian politics, had tons of information of the leaders class. Boris Nesmetov, ex-deputy prime minister on the Oregon, he was totally shot near Kremlin in 2015, walking home from a restaurant. Boris, I mean, this list goes on.
Pat, but you know what our friend Anthony Weiner would say? Pat, he's been in politics forever. These people just fall off of buildings, and these are deaths that come up. Pat, we know what we know.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.